There we go. Excellent. Now I can see that as you can see, my green screen has this barrier here, which shows me where the green screen is. So I'm going to go ahead and move that to make sure. There we go. Okay. So where are we? Where were we? Where are we going? Let's find out right now. So we are in second grade. We finished add and subtract within 20. We finished place value. We finished add and subtract within 100. And then, as I recall, last time we skipped add and subtract within 1,000 because I wasn't feeling great, and we did money and time. So now we're going to go back to add and subtract within 1,000. And we're going to start with adding and subtracting within 1,000 using place value blocks. Yes, I am ready to practice. Let's do this thing. Which equation can be represented by the place value blocks below? Now, in the last stream, we talked about how these square grids of blocks actually represent 100, right? Because if you take 10 of these 10 columns and you squish them together, you get one of these 100 squares. Okay? So we've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 74, right? This purple number is 74, and we are adding to that number 200 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're adding 205 to 74. Now, I love this visual because we can take these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We've got these 9 ones, not enough to make another 10, so that just makes 9. And since we have 7 tens and no tens, that's 7 tens, and we have 200s and no hundreds, that's 200s, so we have 270, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 279. And we're getting that visually by seeing that we have 200 blocks, 7 10 columns, and 9 ones all together. So this is saying 205, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 74. So that's this one right here. Except that that's not right, because 74 plus 205 isn't 249. No, it's not. It's 279. So even though these two answers look very, very similar, C is correct, A is wrong. Moving on. Add. Hint, use the place value blocks to help solve. Now, I don't need place value blocks to be able to do this, but I'm going to look at them anyway. We've got 600 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 83. So that's 683. That's this one right here. And 239. Okay, well, in my head, here's what I do. Okay, what I do is I have 683 and 239. Now, there are many ways that you could do this, but once you get into three-digit math, or three-digit arithmetic, I generally recommend either doing it on paper or doing it on a calculator. This is the point where I start to think that a calculator is probably the best way to go once you understand what the hundreds and tens and one digits actually are. So if I do 9 plus 3, well, that's 12. So I'm going to put the 2 ones in the ones place, and I'm going to take those 10 ones from that 12, and I'm going to move it into the tens place. So I have 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tens, right? I have 12 sets of 10. So that's 2 sets of 10. And then the 10 set of 10 becomes a 100. So that's the way all of this place value stuff works. We're just taking individual ones and compressing them into a 10, and then we'll take all of the 10s and we will compress them into a 100 when there are 10 of them. So we get 6, 7, 8, and 9 hundreds. Our grand total is 922. Excellent. Which equation can be represented by the place blocks? Now, here's another thing that I'm going to talk about when it comes to exams. When you are doing a multiple choice exam, you should try to come up with your own answer before you look at the options, because a lot of the time there will be options that are there specifically to trick you or trip you up. So, I see 100, 1, 2, 3, 4 tens, so that's 140, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's 148 is this purple bit. So I'll go ahead and write that down. This is 148. Now I'm going to take a look at this pink one. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hundreds, 40, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I see 746. Now again, like most of you grown-ups, I was raised with the carry the one kind of culture. So I don't need these visuals, but they can be very, very helpful in helping someone understand what hundreds, tens, and ones actually mean and how to combine them. So let's go ahead and do this in the way that I learned. 8 and 6 is 14, so that's 1, 4. And then the 10 in 14, I will go ahead and move over to the tens place. I have 4 tens and 4 tens and 1 10. That makes a total of 9 tens for 90. And then I have 7 hundreds and 100 for a total of 8 hundreds. So 148 plus 746 is indeed 894, assuming I did not screw up somewhere, which I do sometimes. Okay, so we have all of these are 148 plus 8 or plus 746. It's definitely not 994. It's definitely not 884, or is it? No, it's 894, like I just said. 800, 46 plus 48 is 94. Moving on. We have 428 plus 108, or 425, I'm sorry, plus 108. So the way I look at this, once again, is I look at $425 plus 108. This is the way I do it. And I see that 8 and 5 is 13. So I'm going to take that one group of 10 and leave the ones. Okay, so I've got 20 and 10, so that's 30, and then 400 and 100 is 500. My answer is 533. And that's that. Like I said, once you get to 3-digit addition, it becomes better to either use a calculator or a piece of paper. And at this point, I actually am okay with students using calculators so long as they can demonstrate that they know how to do the arithmetic by hand if they have to. Obviously, we all have calculators on us all the time. So telling students that they just plain can't use a calculator is kind of ridiculous. It's kind of absurd. But I want to know that students could do this if they had to, because these ideas are going to be used later on, and they're going to be generalized to deal with variables and all that other stuff. Okay, so add on a number line. I really like this visualization, so I hope that you use it. So here we start at 429. I'm going to zoom in a bit. I hope you can see that. We start on this number line at 429. Then we add 300 to get us to 729. We add 60 to get to 789. And then we add 3 to get to 792. This is very much how I deal with adding a lot of the time. A lot of folks think that you have to add the ones first so that you can carry the 10, but you don't have to, so long as you're able to adjust on the fly. So this looks like 429 plus 363. That's C. Which number line shows 147 plus 760? So clearly we're going to start at 147, and then we are probably going to jump up 700 and then 60. Or maybe the other way around, the order does not matter. So this one's wrong, A, because it actually starts at 174, not 147. This is another trap for those of you who are dyslexic / dyscalculic. It is there specifically to catch and hopefully support those of you who end up getting those numbers mixed up. I think B is the correct one because we are starting at 147, we're adding 700 to get to 847, and then we add another 60 to get to 907. But let's go ahead and take a look at the last answer just to make sure it's not right. We start at 147, which is correct. We add 700, which is correct. But then they add 6 instead of 60. They added in the ones place instead of the tens place, which is why they got 853 instead of the correct answer, which is 907. Very, very easy to accidentally put the ones place in the tens place or the hundreds place. It's so easy to mix these numbers up. So once again, be patient with yourself, be patient with your students. They're not like getting it wrong on purpose. They're not switching numbers on purpose. It's just the way that some people's minds work, and you have to be patient. You have to. You just have to. Baylor added 416 plus 273 using the number line. All right, so what are we missing? It looks like we're missing 2 pieces here. Oh, that's kind of cool. Look at that. We can click on this thing and it'll give us a drop-down menu. This plus here is clearly plus 200, right? We're adding 200, then we're adding 70, the tens place, then we're adding 3, the ones place. So we'll go ahead and say 200 plus 70 plus 3. Nice. Which expression can be solved with the following number line? Well, we have 571. We are adding 90. We are adding 2. So that's going to be 571 plus 92 is what this is trying to say. Which looks like A to me. And that is adding on a number line. Easy peasy, we got this. Now we've got some strategies for adding within 1,000. Now we've talked a lot about addition and subtraction strategies, so hopefully we'll be able to handle this no problem. 270 plus 400. See how it says no regrouping? That means that in this particular problem set, we will only have to add hundreds and tens and ones, and we will never have to move ones into tens or tens into 100s. So these should be really easy. 270 plus 400, well, that's really, when it comes down to it, the only actual math we're doing here is 4 plus 2 is 6. Right? 200 plus 400 is 600, and everything else is just copied down. 670. 30 plus 860. Again, the 800 is not going to be affected because there's no regrouping. It's not going to be affected by the addition of those 3 tens. Instead, we just count up the tens digits. 6, 7, 8, 9. The answer is 890. 917 plus 70. Again, only the 10s are being affected. The 9 and the 7, the 9 in the hundreds space and the 7 in the ones place, they're not going to change. All right? 10 plus 70 is 80, so the answer is 987. And then finally, 400s plus 300s is 700s, and the other 88 just kind of goes along for the ride. Moving on.